Hi everyone, and welcome to Elvis Presley's World. My name is Debbie, and I hope everyone's having a really awesome day today. Alright everyone, let's get started. Some fans thought maybe Elvis Presley committed suicide. But because of the pressures of performing and traveling, Elvis would take pills to sleep, pills to wake up, and it became an addiction. But because Elvis was getting his medication from a doctor, Elvis thought it was okay. Elvis did have his own personal doctor, Dr. Nick, who traveled with Elvis often. And Elvis would go to Vegas and get meds from Dr. Denham. But near the end, Elvis knew he had a problem with prescription medication, but felt like he just couldn't stop. And Elvis did have health problems. Elvis felt like he was getting old and that he was fat. Elvis felt that maybe his fans wouldn't love him anymore. But 4 days before Elvis Presley passed, a book appeared called Elvis Would Happen. Elvis' close friends Red Sonny West wrote a book about Elvis' drug problem. It was a tell-all book. That hurt Elvis greatly. Elvis said, "What will the fans think? What will my daughter, Lisa Marie, think?" So you know that took a toll on Elvis Presley. Joe Expedito said before he passed on November the 23rd of 2016 that he found a note next to Elvis's body on the day Elvis passed. Joe said he burned the letter because it was better to protect Elvis' family by hiding everything. Joe said in the letter, it said losing Priscilla was the greatest mistake of his life and he couldn't recover from that. In the letter, Elvis also said he was embarrassed. I can't kick the drugs, and because of his weight gain. David Stanley, Elvis Presley's stepbrother, wrote a book called My Brother Elvis.
Well, it was August 14th, was the last time I saw Elvis alive, and I had walked into his room. I was going out of town for a couple of days before a tour on the 16th that we opened in Portland, Maine. And I walked in to tell Elvis that, I was leaving for a couple of days. Do you need anything? And when I walked in, he was sitting on his bed, and he was reading his Bible, and he looked at me and he said, "David, who am I?" Which I thought was a very puzzling question. I said, "Well, you're Elvis, you're the king." And he held his Bible up and said, "No, there's only one king." He said, "Come over here and sit and talk to me." And he looked at me and he just said, "David, I love you." And I said, "I love you too." And he stood up and he gave me a hug. And he gave me this really long hug, and he broke out of the embrace and said, "David, I want you to know something. The next time you see me, we'll be on a higher place in a different plane." I didn't know what that meant at the time. I looked over at his books. Elvis read a lot of spiritual books, and he always had, 20, 30 books next to his bed. I thought he had been reading something, and I was puzzled by what he said to me, and I looked back at him and I said, "No, the next plane you'll be on is to Portland, Maine on the 16th. 2 days later, on the 16th, back at Graceland, when I walked into his bathroom after several others had conversed on the scene, we discovered Elvis's lifeless body, and I thought to myself, was he trying to say goodbye? Was he trying to, let me know that, higher place in a different plane? And, as a result of that, I believe Elvis, died tragically of a self-induced drug overdose.
Everything looks like Elvis could have committed suicide, but I don't think he did, because Elvis believed in God. He had great faith, and his daughter was there. I just don't think he would do that with his daughter in the house. I would love to hear you, Elvis Presley's fans. What is your opinion? Do you think Elvis could have committed suicide? Or do you think there's no way he would have done that? Thank you so much for watching, guys. If you like this video, put a thumbs up, subscribe, and leave a comment below. And when you go out today, be safe, and God bless you all.